we all know what the Better Business Bureau is, or at least we've heard of it, but maybe we don't know exactly what it is that they do. And the President and CEO of the Atlantic Region, Peter Moorehouse, is here with us. Thanks so much for coming in, taking the time.
My pleasure. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you coming in and chatting with us, because it seems like the BBB is one of those organizations where you know it exists, you know it's there, but you're not exactly sure what they do. So I thought maybe it'd be cool to have you to come on, talk to us a little bit about what it is that you guys do.
Yeah.
So that's first question. Give us a sense, the general sense. What does the Better Business Bureau do?
So the awareness of the brand is probably because we've been around for so long. We've been around for 104 years, 65 of those in Atlantic Canada. So we've been around for a long, long time. And the mission statement is to promote marketplace trust. So what does that mean? To create a marketplace where customers can trust that the business that they work with are going to treat them well, and also that the businesses are doing the right thing by their customers. That's what we exist to do, and there's a whole bunch of different ways, different services that we provide that accomplish that.
It's amazing to think that you guys have been around for that long. I mean, it seems, it still seems like it would be kind of a new idea, but I guess it's a very old idea that people don't want the businesses or the marketplace to take advantage of them.
Well, so it's interesting you should say that. So 104 years ago, we were highly, highly relevant because we were literally the only place that a customer could go for the kind of information that we offer about a business's trustworthiness, reliability. 104 years later, we're still reliable because there's so many sources of information out there. So you look online, you got rating sites, you got social media, you've got all of these places where you can go to ask about businesses, to inquire about business, to complain about businesses, but 104 years later, we're still kind of the only place where you can go and get unbiased, balanced, verified, validated information.
When I talk to people about the Better Business Bureau,
Yep.
they seem to think like if they make a complaint to you guys are going to show up, knock some doors down, shut the place down,
right.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like there's justice on their side. Is that a fair representation?
Well, we've got this gun closet. No, sorry, no, we don't. So we can't. As much as, and I'll be honest. I mean, there are businesses out there that I would dearly love to be able to sort of unilaterally just shut down. We don't have that kind of ability. We don't have legislative ability. We're a not-for-profit organization. We exist to serve the community, and in the end, the influence that we have over a business's behavior is really the influence that comes from being able to report to consumers honestly and openly about what happens. So you mentioned, if somebody has a problem with a business, and if people know a little bit about what BBB does, it's probably thinking of us as the complaints people, right? If you have a problem with a business, you go to the Better Business Bureau and get them involved. And that is true, but it's true to a certain extent. We're not a consumer advocacy organization, and I think we all know that as much as the saying goes, the customer is always right, the customer isn't actually always right. And sometimes when people come to us with a complaint, and we take that to a business, we understand actually in the end that the business is actually, they tried to do the right thing, so we're not an advocate for the consumer, not an advocate for the business. We're kind of like a marriage counselor in the middle, right? We're trying to get both to see each other's viewpoint and acting as a party in the middle.
Let's talk about accreditation. Sure. Accreditation, because so some businesses can get accredited, not all of them are.
True.
And essentially, it's that accreditation that kind of supports that they're trying to achieve a certain level of proper standards for the consumer.
Right. So wherever you see the BBB seal, accredited business, whether it's on the door of a business, the window of a business, a vehicle on the street, what that means is a couple of things. That business has voluntarily met and agreed to maintain BBB standards for business practices, which are rigorous standards. But it also means that, as you say, they're voluntarily, because there's no compulsion to become accredited, they're voluntarily supporting our organization through the dues that they pay. So we exist supported almost entirely by our accredited businesses, and there are about 2,000 accredited businesses across Atlantic Canada. What's important to note as well, though, is when, as a consumer, if you come to our website and you see the ratings, A+ through F, and if you've been through school, you probably know what each of those what each of those mean. It's important to note that an accredited business doesn't actually get bonus points. They don't get a higher rating because they're an accredited business. That is purely voluntary. We provide an objective rating based on the information that we know about any business.
So, and of course, you do rate all businesses. You're not just looking at the ones that are accredited. You look at all businesses.
Yep.
And for the ones that might be scoring a little lower, you're actually there to try to work with them to try to rise up and get that A-, that higher rating.
Yeah, in a perfect world, we'd love to see all businesses achieve, or at least be able to achieve, an A+ rating. So when we do have a business that is that has a low rating, an F, it's usually not. So usually the most common reason is because they're not responding to or making a good faith effort to resolve complaints. And we've had a number of success stories where we've had a business that had a history of not responding to complaints and has not only turned that around, done the right things by their customers, but then in turn adopted such a pro stance when it comes to the BBB that they've become an accredited business. And I love those kind of turnarounds because it really does show that we're there as a facilitator for better business behavior.
I would imagine that your process must have changed with online retail becoming so popular now in the last decade or so. It's just boom. So now instead of just watching for your Atlantic region, you're not just looking at the businesses that are in the Atlantic region. Now you must have to deal with this online retailing.
Yeah, that's right. So a business that is registered anywhere can actually do business anywhere in the world now, and so there are Canadian customers that are in some cases working with businesses that are headquartered, that are based outside of North America, and unfortunately in those cases it makes our job challenging because we can't really do anything. We don't have any power to report on businesses that aren't headquartered or registered in our territory. The ones that we would look after are the businesses that are actually located in or registered in Atlantic Canada. So we had over the last year we had a travel booking organization online based in Atlantic Canada, at least registered in PEI, selling to customers all across North America and generating a very large number of complaints. And so our little office here in Atlantic Canada actually had to deal, at one point they were accounting for 1 out of every 5 complaints coming into our office because they were marketing their services all across North America and not doing a very good job by their customers.
And so let's go through the process.
Yeah.
I do run across a business that I think isn't treating me fairly for whatever reason, and I do make a complaint. So what is that process? What does the person do with the BBB? Yeah,
so we need everything in writing. So you can come to our website and you can very easily and quickly submit a complaint online, or you can do the same thing by email. And the reason that we need it in writing is because we don't want to run the risk of misinterpreting or misstating your position. So everything is submitted in writing. Once we get a complaint from a customer, we'll take that complaint to the business and basically say, here's what this person is saying, what is your response, and give the business the opportunity to respond to that complaint. And sometimes it goes back and forth between the business and customer. In the middle, we're injecting hopefully a little bit of common sense on both sides, maybe taking some of the emotion out of the situation, some of the anger and hostility out of the situation. And in the end, what we really want to arrive at is a situation where each person feels, this is something I can live with. I can live with the resolution that's been proposed.
It's interesting because and we were talking about this a little bit earlier. On this show, we've talked a lot about millennials and how they're kind of looking at things differently, especially in the retail world, the consumering world. And obviously, you mentioned it too, it's kind of brought on this rise of where anybody can comment on anything. And if you're purchasing a product, you can go and get a rating right there from customers. Yeah. And it seems like what you guys are doing, you're actually doing that, but for the people that sell the products, not just for the products specifically, but for the people that sell the products. Yeah. So it's an interesting how it's an old idea that's kind of become new again, essentially, with social media.
Right, and that, and so the online world, whether it's social media, whether it's rating sites where anybody can anonymously say whatever they want about a business, it's become a very confusing time to be a customer because you don't really know if you can trust what you're reading anymore. You have to kind of take everything with a grain of salt. But as a business also, it's a very trying time to be a business, because the wrong person who had a bad experience with your business can take to social media and can very quickly drag your business's reputation through the mud if they just sort of tweet at the right time or put a Facebook post at the right time. So it's an interesting time to be in business, and I think as I said at the very beginning, that's kind of where our relevance is coming from now. The fact that we are kind of still the only place where it's an unbiased, verified, validated source instead of just sort of anonymous out there.
Yeah, and I think that is important because when we talk about how, if you go to Amazon and you look at those customer ratings, like you said, it could be somebody that's having a bad day, or somebody who just, sometimes you don't know if the company's having people pad those reviews to make them seem better than they are.
Yep.
We only have a little bit of time left, but what I really like is how really when I talk about you, from the beginning, I kind of made it seem like it was a negative thing, but really what you guys do is very positive. You're trying to make a business know that, look, we got a complaint, but we can turn this around, and it's not that big of a deal.
Yep. Yeah, and that is absolutely true. So our role is to be a coach, a facilitator. Our role is really to kind of create an environment where all across Atlantic Canada we've got businesses that are aspiring to do the right thing for their customers. We've got customers that know they can trust the businesses they're working with. If that happens, we go to business, and I'm happy to be in that place if that happens.
I don't know. In this market, I don't know. It's scary out there.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So people can look for you at bbb.org?
Yeah, bbb.org/Atlantic, or just search for BBB Atlantic and we'll come up.
That is awesome. Peter Moorehouse, thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate it.
Dennis, I appreciate it.